it could either make them, give them a specific look, or it could be older, you know, like the cut could be mature, you know, but we want to keep it young and fresh. And you know, so the tools we're going to be using is two different types of tools. We'll be using a razor and a pair of shears, and with the razor there's three parts to it also. We're going to be cutting on the edge. So it's a very, very important when we're using this tool that we don't use too much of the flat of the blade, you know, because the flat of the blade, and if the hair doesn't have the right moisture in it, it could like scratch the hair, and all of a sudden like a beautiful tool like this that was used in the 1920s a lot, it could be like, you know, my hair feels a certain way, you know, and my hair is highlighted, you know, so it's a different porosity. But using the razor, I'm going to be cutting with the tip, the edge of the razor parallel to the hair, and there's three parts to it. You have your tip, the flat of the blade, and you have the back of the blade. So if you're right-handed, you can move from the center to the left with the tip, and then from the center to the right, I'll be using the back of the blade. Okay, so each corner I will talk about, each area we'll talk about that. I've already, as we were talking, I was not only sectioning, but the top, you know, just to kind of visualize what the top is and clipping that out of the way. And we went from recessions all the way back into the back to recession, right? In this little area here, I noticed that the hair likes to go a certain direction, so I just kind of went with it. I didn't force it. I didn't do anything to make this perfect ring around there. But what I did do is went below the crown, right? So this is the crown right here. I went just below the crown, just as it's right in that area to give, because of the length of the hair. Yeah, to capture my corner, and also because of the length of the hair, I wanted to kind of keep it for later. Save the crown for last. So that's one thing. Then, as I'm combing, I'm like, oh, you know, she's finer around here. It's finer hair. She can move the hair around very easily, depending on how short we cut this right here. But I'm going to keep it right about here. Okay, so that it's still, she can still tuck it. And in the back right here, what I'm also doing is I'm looking at the head shape at the profile. Some people are very, very round. Some people are more flat. Some people are wider. So that is also taken into consideration when we're working the nape. Okay, so I just like to just put my comb here and see where the hair dips, and right where the hair dips, that's where I'm going to section the mid to the nape at an angle like this. I'm going to give just a little bit more to the bottom.
And if it was more flat back there, where would you put that part?
If it was a lot more flat right there, what I'd like to do is still use my comb, and then as your comb, you can see where the top overhangs, and just kind of like, I'm gonna go right about here. Okay, just more visual, and what's important in that area is to visualize what's already existing on the top. Okay, so you can connect or disconnect. Does that work? Yeah. All right. Foundation mist is awesome. You know, it's a great product. Every single client has that, you know, because there's chamomile in foundation mist, there's lavender. So as I'm cutting, as I'm spraying, I really want I want Cece to be as calm as possible. You know, and making sure that everything is moisturized and stuff like that, right? It's definitely not water. Water, you know, water drips everywhere. It's dries faster, and I'm setting in the movement, and I want something to actually glide my razor and my shears, and something light, right? Lighter, like a light mist. There's porosity issues in here. So Super Shine was also used in Cece's hair just to kind of keep more moist. Okay, so she can go between Super Shine Light and Foundation Mist. All right, center back, dividing the center in half right here. We're going to be cutting the hair in panels. Each panel is going to start at the nape. I'm looking at, there's the tattoos perfectly centered. Moving the hair around, I can see that the hair texture is meaning straight. If you see waves, it gets wavier in the 2s, 3s it gets curly, and 4 it gets tighter and coily. But in this case, we have the hair is straight. Okay, so the hair is straight. I'm going to take a tiny little diamond section. Okay, this section right here, we're going to go side to side. Okay, we're going to start on one side. I'm going to move to the other side. I'm going to go back and forth, just to kind of look at the weight distribution and also recognize all the little different personalities out of the name. Cool. All right. Right here, it's a little dry. Utilizing the razor, how I learned how to use a razor in the very beginning of my career was I just put all my shears away and just like cut myself. No, just kidding. I just got really familiar with like your own strokes. Everybody has a different tension, right? Some people are softer when they're combing hair. Some people are tighter, but it's good to balance out and understand your own tension when you're creating the strokes, because it's about the density, it's about the hair strand, and if we go too tight, then it could snap back, right? So understanding your own tension is really important. If you're a very strong and tight tension, how I like to hold the razor is doing 2 fingers on top, okay? And then you use your wrist as your movement. And we can practice that in the very beginning, but as we move forward, take 1 finger away and then you're using your wrist and your fingers to create the softness, and so that you're able to create your perimeter, okay? All right. So I'm gonna elevate it out right here. It's tight at the nape. We're doing tight graduation below the nape. So bring it out, and using the very tip of my blade, look for the bend, and then just cut it and erase the hair. So whatever we see here is the lines and that we're putting behind. So it's hugging, so it hugs nice and tight at the nape. Beautiful, perfect model. Thank you. I'm gonna have that.
She does have a good head.
Okay. So before I move on, we don't move on to B until we like what we did A, right? In anything that we do in cutting. So each section we look at it as its own thing, each panel. Here, I'm gonna follow the hairline. The hairline goes up and it drags down to the corners, and I'll be scooping it out with the tip of my comb and using the tip of the blade and just lightly erase the hair, okay? As I'm doing that, I'm taking a look, did that work out? Did I leave anything behind? I left a little bit behind right here. So, tap, 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 lightly erase, and not going past this little line right here, okay? All right, as I move up, I'm gonna go diagonal, pick up just slightly a little bit more, and pivoting off of below the crescent of the so it's moving around the head like that, okay? In these panels like this. These are my sections. Moving around the hair to the hairline. So this is the tight graduation right here, and
sort of pivoting off the center, basically.
yes, pivoting off the center all the way around. Your elevation is really, really important. If you keep low elevation like this, you're leaving this much behind. And remember, leaving that corner behind is adding a weight, okay? So towards the bottom of the nape, depending on the curves of the head, make sure that you elevate off of the head shape instead of dragging it. And you know, with thicker, coarser hair or curl patterns are like 3 and 4, you know, leaving that tiny little bit of that corner, we're creating weight. Okay, so this is collapsing the nape line, exposing it, and making sure that we're not leaving a little friend behind. So elevating it out, using the very tip of the blade. Oh, right here I'm losing tension, right? So I'm, instead of dropping everything, I'm holding my elevation, scooping the hairline back up, and then I'm right on track again. We usually lose tension when we go past our knuckles, and sometimes everybody's knuckles is different, everybody's fingers is different, so cut what you can control. You know, it makes it a little bit more, you know, and I think, you know, I came from a world where everything was like, you know, really rigid, you know, which is cool, that intimidated us to go shorter, you know, so I think it's important that cut what you can control. The most important thing is visualize what you're doing so you're able to create. This side right here, I'm gonna pivot again. So I'm working on this panel right here, okay? And it's like, you know? And before I move on, I'm gonna look at, is this where I want the shape, you know, profile of, right? That feels good, looking at everything. It's cool, right? Let's keep on going. Body position is really, oh, I did this side, I'm gonna go to this side. Your body position is really important. Make sure the chair is up, that you're able to get in. And sometimes when you're working behind the ear, it's like, I can't get in, you know? So what you can do is have the client turn the opposite way so you can actually get in behind the shoulders and get it tighter. Oh. Okay, so that's a really good one, because if they don't move their head and you're standing from behind, you can leave a lot of weight. Okay, so getting in so that you're able to cut. Oh. Way. Do we use a lot of open razors?
No, we use our feather razors. We all only have feather razors.
Cool, yeah.
I never use it.
Yeah.
So, feather razor, thank you so much. Feather razors are also excellent also, but just remember that guard right there makes you go faster. You know, it's like, because you're protected. So with
scared.
Yeah, you're not scared. It's, you know, you're not. You know, it's one of those things where you know that if this is a safety issue, you tend to go a little slower. Okay, but both are great. You know.
I want to point out to some of the new girls how many times you comb each section to make sure every hair has the same tension versus just like one little scoop in your fingers where the top might have a little slack or something. That
Yes.
how much combing?
Yeah, it's combing and also keeping everything in its panel. You know, because this is the area that is going to be the profile, and it needs to sit in. So spending that little bit of time right here is good. But you don't want to cut and keep on detailing at the same time, because there's also a person here. You want to build confidence immediately, you know? So taking a step back and not going autopilot is really important, you know? So at this area, making sure that we're on. So I'm at the nape. You can see my fingers is from the top down to the hairline. That's my focus right here. Elevating it out, and then using the tip of the blade, not the center, the tip. The tip. This is where you write your perfect check, you know. And bringing it out, using tension, elevating it out, and bringing it to the nape. Really beautiful, so much personality, hugs really nicely, you know. Right here, a little bit more masculine, squared it off, right? I'm gonna keep it soft. He's my yoga instructor. Look at the back At here, I'm just gonna scoop it up. You can see that my comb is following the shape of the neckline and also the below the occipital bone. It's not dragging, it's not squared. You can, if you, that's what you're going for, but I really want to accentuate the long neck. It's just so pretty and sexy. Okay. This side, it's opposite, and I'm going to scoop, elevate it out, and use my blade to slowly take it down, take it down, take it down. Okay, so creating that line. I should have went this side and this side, right? I just kind of went into a flow, you know, so, yeah, back and forth. A little bit less right here. Scooping the hair out right here. And this. And just taking, remove and erase. And another piece. And scoop. This is right behind the ear where your elevation is really, really important. If you keep it low elevation, just remember the hair is going to be tucked back. So everything is, we don't want like the little mushroom, you know? Yeah, wait, yeah. Elevate it out, coming out. My tension is firm, but it's not this, you know, that's, you know, but it's not weak. Just keeping in mind that the hair needs to be soft. Okay, so we can detail these little areas after. We're gonna just go with the momentum, okay? Or actually, that kind of bothers me. I'll just take a little bit right here. So at the nape, pinch and using the tip to sculpt down and flatten out. And that's where we're going. Okay, making sure it's nice and smooth.
Yeah,
question over there.
Yes.
Are you, like, how do you know when to decide the length of your strokes with your razor? Because sometimes I know that they can be very, like, shallow to create, like, a harder line, I guess. But also, I'm noticing as you're getting closer to this area, your strokes are becoming a little longer.
Yeah.
Is that something conscious that you want to be mindful of, and what look is that creating?
Yes, that's a great question. Your hairline is gonna, depending on how low or high the hairline is gonna give you the looseness and your elevation. But I think the question, what it sounds like, is about the strokes, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So each stroke, in my mind, I'm thinking I'm not gonna cut past this area right here. You know, so my strokes, in order to be on top of my strokes, is my tension is light, and if I wanted more of a structured haircut, I'm gonna go tighter.
Okay.
Okay, and in certain areas, it's especially at the mid, it could go thicker in that area, and it could be just, so I'm gonna feel the weight and go a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
and then go back to a tighter if the hairline is higher, right? If the hairline is a lot lower, if I wanted a line that's more solid, then I'll go tight. If I wanted a line that's more looser, you know, then I'm gonna elevate first and still use the strokes. If I wanted anime, then that's what I'm gonna do, okay? But if you have a high hairline and you go anime, it could be really anime,
Yeah.
right? So each panel, each step, take a look at it, you know, and just go, that's where, oh, I need to go back before I go to C, D, S, C, D, E. Yeah, more visual, yeah. But like I said, each person is very different in their tension. You know, we shake hands differently, we comb differently. So getting to know your own tension and the texture that you're working with is going to really build your intuition on how this hair responds to a tool like this, right?
How did you go from structured haircutting, so you said you have a military type training program, to learning how to be soft, create waves and fluids? The best haircutters in the world, I think, would lead off session training, real structured, and then they can go beyond that. So where did you find yourself being able to go beyond that and actually create?
That's a great question. How did I, you know, in the night, I think what it was for me was, it's about building your own signature and your own aesthetics, right? I definitely love, I'm a cutter, I love to cut hair, all different types of hair. So when you're building your own signature or your own portfolio, or, you know, it's important to be inclusive. It's important to know all different textures of hair to understand what you're working with, and to also be open, allowing a new tool in, understanding what tool it is, what this does, how it is, all the benefits for this person, their texture, and taking a step back and taking a look at what is currently happening out there and what you want to invent for yourself, and you want to try to, it's personalizing. So all those things, taking that moment to kind of like, I need to boost up my career. You know, I need to, you know, I've been doing my client's hair for blah, 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 blah. She's been coming to me, and I want to give a new experience for them, you know, just to be more well-rounded. Yeah. Communication was a huge thing for me too. Communicating all of that.
A lot of people learn a haircut and they just cover the haircut instead of looking at what we're talking about real life.
Yeah.
Understanding how to actually visualize the
Yeah, and like especially in the nape right here, if I cut it blunt, it's gonna be very geometric.
They haven't seen each other.
Maybe took over, yeah.
Good morning, Lex.
Good morning. So now, any questions about the nape?
That looks great.
We're good? Cool? Yeah. There's also a little, if you have a nape that's, the hairline drags down and it's a little lower, like, oh, it's not sitting as flat, you know, you can take section by section, pinch and sculpt, okay? This haircut, to me, if I were to go in and cut it blunt and shave the back end, it's a more masculine look, you know? And I don't see Cece as being like masculine. I see her more lived in. I see her more wearable. I see her more using her fingers rather than a round brush for volume. So all those little things is what I'm trying to bring out. Next, we're gonna pivot at the with the shapes and curves of the head. Okay, we're gonna take another section, and we're going to move that section and pivot off of the below the crown, just right to the ear. So it's gonna go from here, 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 and then transition to square. Okay. My question is like, where do I know where to keep the weight out? I'm gonna pull the hair out, and then I'm like, that's the bend of the hair, right? That's where it's gonna bend. And this is where I'm gonna start my, and leave that portion behind so it hugs the head, and also graduates, and leaving that, the line right here. Okay. Start here, if I go here, flat. Here, still keeping it really nice and soft. Your strokes right here, since this is where it's the most dense, right? I'm gonna go a little wider, and then I'm gonna end up softer. The haircut is slightly disconnected. It's not gonna be on top of each other. I want movement in there. I wanna see movement and also the interior supporting the exterior. Okay, here, jump over to the side right here. You'll notice on my right side, because I'm right-handed, I go from my fingers and our body position is this way, but when I turn over to my left, I'm gonna go top going down. I'm switching it. And just erase, erase, erase. And making sure before I go on, does it feel right? Can I put a little bit of like rough luxury in there? And how is that gonna work? You know what I mean? What is it gonna look like? You know, is it bulking up? Is it getting puffy? All those. Moving up again, and we're gonna start slowly transitioning from diagonal into right behind the ear, square invert. If you have a lot of hair, you can take, we've already cut it, and just kind of resection it so you know. Right here is a lot more movement, taking out weight.
So you also bring your fingers out closer, so it is when you bring it tighter than bringing it, like the looser
Yes.
structure, bringing your fingers back more.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That's one way that you can go, depending on the density in the hair. But taking out weight is where I'm gonna go next, because I'm moving on top of the occipital bone, and that's where it's flat, right here, right? I wanna build inside movement without taking too much weight out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna elevate out. I'm gonna see through the hair, and this is the weight right here. And taking out weight is I'm gonna respect the bends of the hair and just go 1, 2. That's 2. It's not like thin, thin, or it's not like thin, you know? It's still creating infrastructure inside to blend with the bottom. Okay, so it's a 3-dimensional area right here that we're working. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is my angle okay? Elevate. Oh, look, see how that dropped out right there, and it hugs and it blends with the bottom. Okay, so now I'm just bringing some movement in. This hangs over, is slightly disconnected on the edge, but the inside is connected with the bottom. Okay, so I'm able to put product in to lift instead of like the product goes in, it's like it's a little mushroom or it's too heavy.
Looking beautiful already, Cynthia.
Yeah.
It's she's the perfect person. I turned into Cynthia, one of my favorite clients. She's just interior decorator. She's perfect every single day.
We think she's pretty perfect too.
And she's she always has the hybrid. We tried growing it out. She's like, let's bring it back. So here I'm going to elevate it out. Look for the bends of the hair to create the shape, right? Sometimes it's flat right here, so you know, right at this area right here. So I'm not going to cut it, release too much weight, but I can slip through the hair and go, oh, maybe right there. So going 1, 2, give infrastructure. You can remove the weight, but I am, yes, removing the weight. And index finger is what's controlling the tip of the blade, so I can get more precise signature. Like you're signing your diploma, you know? Yeah. Maybe not your check, but your diploma. And you can also use your hands to cut to see where you want to build the way out on the profile. All right, so here I'm going to start pivoting. Spraying just enough so that we don't, it keeps the hair moisturized. And keeping your elevation up, whether, you know, sometimes everybody's height is different, so just be mindful to either lower your chair or bring it up, okay? Or just simply just raise your elbow. Look for the infrastructure, look for the bends of the hair. And here, looking through it, it looks like I'm gonna go a little bit here, a little bit here, and here. So 3 instead of 2, okay? So that's the reason why I'm being very cautious about that, is because I'm not just like removing weight, you know? When we go on autopilot, we're like, you know, and it's like, oh my God, what happened?
Where's my hair?
Yeah.
You want to make the density equal of the hair?
Yeah, you know, we want to keep everything as structured as possible, but have the capability to be loose, okay? With my elevation straight out, I don't need to go, I could just cut mine long. I'm using the sections and these panels to just cut my line. I'm not doing this and this,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Wow.
Evaluating this part of the head right here, it's becoming a little weight. That could be a couple of things. I probably, right in through here, coming down, it dragged a little bit. So easy. Before we move on to our next panel, we're just gonna take this and pick it up. And I can see, not this piece, I can see that it's been left weighty right there, right? So, and this is right behind the ear. And there's a couple of ways to do this. You can keep your line right here with the shape of a bob, or what I'm doing right now is I'm going in. You see my body position, my hands position is heading towards the earlobe rather than below the earlobe. So it hugs it a little bit more. Okay, so here, using my comb, bringing it this way, back and forth. We don't need to cut what we've already cut, so elevating it out, looking for the bends in the hair, looking through, 1, 2, recomb. This was a little bit more here. And on this side, moving from center to left, I'm gonna use the back of my blade, right? We wanna match, we can do this right now, but keeping it nice and loose. A little bit right there. That's just me going crazy.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
If
Yes.
you had someone with hair more like mine, like finer hair, because I've got Cece's hair a few times, so she's very dense in the back of her crown.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had someone like me who's really a little bit lighter on, so on the top of my head,
Yes.
you know, so the hair would be pulling over wouldn't be quite as thick, would you not go as straight and maybe angle it a little bit more to create a little bit more volume there and then just using to piece it out?
Great question. If the hair was finer, how can we encourage more thickness, right? And how do we remove weight without taking all the weight out, right? So if in that, thank you. In that case, in that area, I would, instead of going like this, I would go tighter.
But I mean, would you not taking weight out? And then so you're saying when you're taking the actual cut, not the weight, you would do more of a straight cut to create more volume instead of more of a rugged cut to take more out?
That depends on a couple of things. That depends on, in that specific area, if there's a growth pattern that sits like, just be a little looser. If it's finer hair, hold with great tension and create your line a little stronger.
Yeah,
Maybe
more of a closed.
Yeah, and maybe not remove weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be it
More
too.
of a closed cut instead of no.
More of a tighter tension.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
not working
yeah.
at like specific angles, I guess you could say, like a bob, for instance. He's actually kind of just like using more of like texture and like.
And the head shape.
Yeah.
And the head
You're
shape.
going with an actual head shape.
I'm going with the head shapes, and I'm going with each panel, understanding that's below the crown, and I'm hitting it to this hairline right here. So you go from building that bridge. So within that bridge, oh, it's a little finer, maybe just at the crown. I'm gonna go a little tighter, and then just right below that, it feels a little thicker right there. I'm gonna go in one and go tight again. So it's kind of like heartbeats in the areas where you need it, or sometimes when it's really, really dense right there. T-Mobile. You know? You know what I mean? But it's never the same.
Right.
Not never, it's for me, and it's not the same because I'm looking at, in that panel, it's density, and not only that, but how it relates to the previous. If you go the same roadmap, it could be, oh, shit, you know? Right, kind of. All right, so here, this is a little bit too much here, right there, slow down. Move up. This is enough. And I'm pivoting again off below the crown, scooping it up, and my elevation is high, but I'm moving towards a square shape. It's loose, see through right there. Maybe just one. Okay. Still pivoting. This is a very important area because could be in the styling part is where all the hair likes to go drag back. So making sure that your elevation is up high. A little bit right here. Strengthen that area. Take the hair out, comb it out, still keeping your same elevation, and you can see the weight living here also. So maybe a little one. Okay. Stay on the edge, guys, with the razor. It's so important that it's aligned with the cuticle, because you don't want it to be like, cat scratch.
Yeah.
And those little things really help to, we can, just to elevate your craft, right? Don't drink too much coffee when you're putting it in. Make sure you breathe. Right now, I don't know if it's lighting, but I can see it's a little muffin right here. So just, I'm gonna go elevate it in and just cut out those pieces, because it's short 2 pieces. It's not geometric. So here, the sun's coming out. It's a lot of work.
Yes.
It's really hot. Just a little bit here.
You got a t-shirt on? Strip.
That didn't come with the menu. So right here, this I'm moving and pivoting, and a big thing that I see, and it could be to answer your question in that lower crown where it's like, how short can I take this right now?
Right, because her hair will stick up too, because she has
Yes.
Asian hair.
Yeah.
Wait, she's Asian?
So before we cut, I'm just doing this. That tension, I need that. It's like I'm hitting it with the razor and it's gonna pop right back. So being a little bit lighter and go, that's pretty.
Yeah.
I wanna keep that. If I go here, ding.
Uh-oh. Then you made an uh-oh.
You don't want to, yeah.
Like here, I wanna leave that much of it behind and go in. Can go this way. You see I changed my body position this way? You can move it back and forth too, okay? From the underneath too. And I'll hold it out, use the back. I'm losing tension. I'm losing it. Recomb. Okay, don't drag it out. Don't. Seems a little heavy here. Fingers, fingers, fingers. Go too long here. Oh, let that out. Okay. Move on side to side. And then when I get to right behind the ear, instead of going side to side, I just feel like going side to side right now. I'm losing momentum. So in knowing that, I'm gonna go all the way and go back. So finish one side and then do the other. Okay. And definitely right behind the ear, I'm gonna be a little looser, right? All that weight sitting, so instead of going tight geometric, I'm gonna go loose. Loop, not like, now we're hitting more square, okay? So it went from here, square. How are we doing with time? We good?
We have an hour 45.
Good. Making sure that you're squared, okay? Look for the bend of the hair. Not only the bends, but the highlights. There's highlights in here and we want to protect it. Heavy, heavy. And keeping it square. Square out, not square here. Okay, and this could be leaving a lot of weight on top. Lots of friends back here. So just leave it alone for now. We'll come back. Pretty. How are you doing? Are you okay?
You have water, Kien?
All right, so this is a tricky part right
Yep.
here. You know, this is we're gonna go to square layers. So I'm working at the corners below the my parting and working towards the hairline. So depending on how tight you want this part, you can go this much, or this much, more of a surfer look. When we talked, I noticed the length on top. If I kept it 3 inches out with the shortness on top, I'm gonna leave the proportion too heavy on the sides. So what Cynthia has the length on top, it falls right about here. So I'm gonna go about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of length taken out. Cool, does that make sense? Yeah, it's the proportion from the top and the bottom is what is gonna create the look, okay? So identify the length on here first to how it falls over, okay? And if you have long hair and they're going from here to here, look at the curves of the head shape, the hairline, and the density on top. So the density on top could also tell you how far to create your recession to recession, right? The top from the bottom. You can go higher or lower when you section out. That's gonna be very on an individual thing. Okay, it's the top and bottom, this corner to here that makes it. All the clients are asking for this look right now, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it.
No, just kidding. All right. Another thing I'm noticing as I'm going more square, that it needs to be square. If we don't keep it square, it is going to be like short to long, you know? And we're not looking for that to like the huge. I mean, it is, that's interesting, but it's not. Here, bring it up. Working on this area right here. The higher you really lift your elbows, you're more accurate you're gonna be. If you just hold it right here, you're leaving just that little bit behind, okay? So here. And I want to be able to have it hug, and you can afterwards resection above the ear and take it tighter, you know. But I want to see the softness first before I just cut it off, you know. You can for that specific person to go tighter here, but I like that idea in that there's still pieces, you know. It still feels like there's something there, and not just like carved out. The weather is changing right up here too. getting warmer and the hair is drying a lot more, so. At the curves of the head, below the sides, we have recessions. I don't want to over direct everything back, because that's going to be like, "Mwah," you know.
Just straight out.
Straight out. Where the head curves, I might think about that at that point, if it's really dense on the square. If it's very finer and looser than that, I might just over direct to the previous, but not all the way back to the third. Is this all making, are you guys, is this good?
Uh-huh.
That's great.
She looks cute, right?
Yeah, this is a beautiful haircut.
See how it just like that, just raise it up, here. I caught myself right there. You know, I was like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm like, just, you know, sometimes you just kind of. Needs to be moist. Do we have any questions, or is there, in this area, is there any concerns that, we're good?
I have a question. Sorry. So like, how much do you usually charge to do this type of haircut, since it's like so detailed and you're like,
A lot.
yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm serious, yeah.
Seriously, no, yeah, cause it's like so like, yeah, we wanna know.
You know, it's you know, the client on the hour, you know, but you know what helps? Is that when you have a roadmap, you kind of follow that roadmap, so that at the end, you can detail and be more
I mean,
creative.
I was about to say, when you do this over at the salon, it doesn't take you 2 hours. I'm sure you can
No,
do all
it
in one
doesn't.
time.
No, yeah, I was watching, I was like, I bet he's
Yeah,
fast.
if I could just look, step back and go, this is gonna be here, I can't go past there.
We're having to verbalize everything right now.
Yeah.
Every client should get this assessed look of
Yeah.
detail, whether it's long hair or not, so.
It makes it so
Not that
much
this is a harder
easier.
haircut than the other ones.
Well, like, I mean, yeah, but like it takes a lot longer to do this than like.
Because it's new to you though.
Yeah, it takes me
That's
that
awesome.
Right.
That's what I was-
Oh,
So
really?
I have a question about how the face goes. With a razor, sometimes if the razor's done improperly in more sparse area, it tends to really spray out. So what are you doing to make sure that doesn't happen?
Make sure that it's, because Cece's hair is on the fine side and we're going finer, you know, so I decided to use a mist.
Yep.
You know, my hair, anything puts on my hair is really, so that's a misty client. But around the areas where it's like highlights and there's foils there, then if you wanna, it could like jump right back. Maybe, I like super shine, there is super shine light in here.
So more of a product.
More of a cream,
Yeah.
so you can control, you know? Yeah, or a little moist and gel serum. Yeah, that's really cool too. Like cutting bangs and gel serum is really cool.
It's not gonna work.
I didn't even think about that. That's great.
Yeah, because just, you know, products are, you know, it's when you understand porosity, close porosity, the hair is healthy, maybe it could be oily, the hair is slippery, sometimes it can appear dull, it's finer. Anything you put on that hair lays on top. So I can see the clients are like, oh, maybe that might be too heavy in their hair. They want something, you know, that actually goes through the hair, right? Medium porosity is kind of, the door's a little open, you know, and it takes on things, moisture really evenly. But when it's high porosity right here, it's, you know, it's open, you know, and you can put product in and it just kind of goes away, or, you know, it's a different porosity. So when we're thinking about creams, gels, sprays, and mists, depending on if the client wants volume or like they don't want the volume, and I think about what is here.
This is while cutting, so he's able to see shape that's coming out, instead of turning into this frizzy mess as it's cutting, and then you start loading on, you're like, oh shit, you actually use your hands to see what's happening.
Yeah, you can feel it, and like it's important to run your fingers through and move the hair around, open it out to see what it really looks like.
So just guessing at it.
Or combing it down, or just like
Your mess.
comb, you know what I mean? Like it's nice to go through and see.
So what I was talking about earlier about learning this a way to cut hair and then being able to cut hair. That evolution, a spot where you go, okay, this was what I learned, ABC, now I can create something. He's way beyond all that, so it's,
Tailoring.
yeah.
Be customized.
Yeah.
That's what I really like about this style of
Yeah.
cutting. I feel like you can really customize
You can
it.
customize this for anybody, right?
Yeah.
Like he's going out
I feel like I
for-
see it, the shape easier when I cut it with a razor like this. I can see exactly where the texture is at. And
Yes.
it's just pretty.
Who says that? Yeah. It's just, you know, it's, you can see how that needs a little bit more, you know, it's not assuming, you know. Sometimes you have to take a different direction.
Sometimes when I use my scissors to cut hair, to do a whole haircut, I feel like, okay, I've done the whole haircut, now I'm gonna dry it, and I've gotta go back and see where all the weight is. I've gotta go texturize, I've gotta point cut.
You're doing 3 haircuts.
Yes.
Sometimes. Yeah, that's how I felt. I'm like, why am I doing 3 haircuts where I can just
I can
do
see it right now, yeah. Is there a hair type that you don't use a razor on?
No, it's more to me, there's certain areas where I don't use the razor.
Yeah.
Like maybe in the front, you know. If I use the flat in the front, it's gonna deflate. If I am not precise on the moisture, then it gets white, you know. Finer hair, sometimes when you create lines or when you cut with the razor, you remove hair, you actually sometimes give more hair. It becomes fuller, you know. Ronnie Stam. He's got fine hair and he's just like, you know, sometimes when we remove something, we actually give something. But, yeah.
Your hair's getting done.
So pretty. I like the calmness. I can see the profile, the lashes, the nose. It's pretty. And the idea is to keep it kind of wearable and soft, you know. On this side, I have sometimes, everybody has a stronger side. On this side, it's different for me, so I have to make sure, I always leave this side longer.
You're dealing with Preston's stronger side right now.
The what?
That's Preston's stronger side.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna take off the wig first, and right into here, see all the hair is like clogging up right here. So I have to make sure I am on top of this area. Okay, so that's just me. And if you're able to do it all along with, amazing, but I'm gonna go here.
I just had to show you how to
Recomb this section right here because in the front, the hairline is recession, a lower recession, and sometimes it dips, you know? So here, in this case, it's actually really nice. It's hitting right behind the ear. Her hairline is not all the way here, so if I keep it just straight out, I'm gonna get the perfect hair.
Yes.
Without having to like,
go to that.
yeah.
Elevate it up.
Without doing extra,
Mhm.
you know?
We say you're perfect without doing the extras.
So pretty.
Yeah.
Just a looking through the hair right here, I'm gonna keep the tension just slightly tighter, so it's not like just like super sweet. Hit straight to me.
We have 1 hour, just like that. Yeah, we only have an hour left, we're doing good.
It was 45 minutes.
We're gonna spin the wheel.
We
We're
talked
gonna
about
put
it.
everybody's name on that wheel, and then whatever hair, we're gonna spin it, and whatever
And then we
haircut
have
lands on there,
shots.
we're gonna do it. Sorry, just gonna switch product with just a little bit more position.
Last time we heard this was 7 years ago. We haven't done this.
That was the best 13 minutes.
It's so fast.
How do you know that?
Because we went to somewhere right there in, California.
Yeah.
I know they eat sometimes.
My right side's always my longer side too.
Yeah.
I always look that heavier, I have to be like, I stop and think more on the right side than I do on the left. Left, I'm like, I get clogged up on the right.
Yes. You know, it happens to all, you
I
know.
feel like you're always crossing across, you end up crossing across your body more on that side versus on the left side, you're open and free, and on this side, you're like,
Yes.
kind of working there a little more. Your elbow hits your body and.
Yes. Mm-hmm. No, all of that, you know, if you can. Yeah.
But just knowing that, you know, compensate for it, going to the end.
Exactly. At the end of the day, like
It all works out.
it's really about what's happening, you know. And making sure everything is tailored, and it's a little heavy right here behind the ear. So I'm just gonna go back into my little pillar panel here. I can see that it's still weighty here.
This is a true test with all this humidity.
Yes.
I mean, this is like, this is talent.
It's a test of the talent and of the products.
Yeah.
The products really help.
Yes, 100%. See, it's just drinking the cream,
Yeah.
you know? So we might have to go with something else on top, but we'll see.
You're so cute, Cece.
I know, this is so cute.
So cute, right?
Yeah, so good.
Is that a turkey?
Oh my God.
The
dogs are with the turkeys.
There's turkeys. Like all of them here.
There is, yes. Yeah, we always have them on the property for relative. Yeah, we
There's what? There's a turkey? Where?
We just.
I took my friend, because she's looking at my eyeballs for information. She's looking at me like, tell me what's going on. The shape is great.
She said, I'm trying to help my friend right now.
The shape is great, and she needed this.
It looks really good, yeah.
You get to
You
watch
were
the
ready
whole
for this.
thing.
I love your hair like slicked
He
back.
said she looks
That's
like
what I
a-
was just about to say, I like it away from my face.
You're like one of those girls that could get out of the pool and like the moves.
Yeah.
I was like, look, I was like, it's like.
Like 1990s style.
Remember Jenny? Did y'all ever see True Lies?
Like a bottom.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
She gets out of the
It's
pool like Jenny
cheekbones.
from True
Like,
Lies.
she has a good face
I
to
mean,
have
it
that
reminds me
haircut.
of kind of like in the 90s when Winona Ryder,
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore cut their hair, Gwyneth Paltrow when they first cut it short, you know, she had that little short, it was like kind of swept over to the side, a little grungy looking raver,
You have a good face.
you know. She puts her hair in like little pins.
Well, it's like effortless. I feel like every blonde girl is always like effortless. They just like,
Yes.
like yeah.
Tough,
Yes.
but soft, quiet. Now we're gonna head up to the top right here to cross check certain things. You can just put your fingers in and just look in the mirror, feel for the weight, okay? All right, now we're gonna move on to the top. We're good? Any
Yeah.
questions on the two bottoms?
No, it's beautiful.
at this point right here, I'm looking at the profile.
Oh, cute, or big.
Oh,
You know,
wow, cute. This
no.
is so
It's really, right now what's happening with all the Grace, I think she's a beautiful, amazing model. I think she's from North Carolina, South Carolina. Her hair is like beautiful down to here. They've used her for many, all the ads. And then this past 2 seasons, she decided to cut it short. And it actually just boosted her career. It was really amazing because, I mean, and she's gorgeous. She's like 18 years old, I think, and she's from like a small town. And she walks all the shows. And there was a tutorial on, I don't know who cut her hair. It wasn't Guido, it was another stylist. But I think it was Sam McKnight. Just here to here. And it just was incredible, you know. You can see the neckline, you can see the shoulders, confidence, you know. I loved it. And she's so nice. Super nice. Anyways, okay, so yeah, you just kind of like taking a look at what she looks like. Combing through. So decisions right now, you know. Cece combs her hair from this side over, right? This side over. Okay. So I'm looking before I cut. What is great? Okay. I like the idea that this might be a little bit too long. I love if we bring the length up somewhere and just kind of hit it right at the cheek. It's gonna make the face look longer and just kind of like more angles, right? If I cut it blunt right here, it'd be maybe too heavy. If I cut it tight and bowl cut it, you have the option. It could be more boyish, it's aerodynamic. Maybe not today, but she would be great with that. I feel like for Cece, we talked about having it be more wearable. If she wants the volume, she can have the volume. If she wants it more sleek, she can have it sleek. So combing the crown, combing it over, and looking at the head shape. The head shape is really important. It's what is existing in the head shape, okay? We have recessions. We have all the different little curves. We have our corners on the side. We have in the crown right here. We have, what am I gonna leave behind? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna section off the curve, just right here. Bring it back. That's a little bit too much. Just a little bit right there. Okay, just naturally where the curves open up. You good? Is it itchy or anything?
No.
Okay, I'm also looking at what this piece of hair is, this area, it likes to either clog or, you know, it's the same situation from the underneath, right? So, decisions. Let's see what we're gonna do. I wanna keep the head shape and bring out that profile right there. I don't wanna keep too much behind also. I don't want it to look heavy and round, you know? I don't want her to like round brush blow dry, you know, she's not there
That
yet.
shape too, yeah.
Yeah, it's naturally there. So something that's like hand dried, finger dried to create the shape without having to like push in a round brush will make it a little bit more natural and current.
They don't wanna blow it out anyways. They're just like, I just wanna.
Yeah. So, okay.
Kind of like a little tag to the.
Yeah, you have the ideas like come up, right? In the back, still utilizing the curve of the head to bring the top and combine it to the bottom, right? Because it's disconnected, but it's not, there is some blending in there. I'm gonna go with the curves to the side and we're gonna over direct everything. See, I'm looking at that piece, going a little higher. I'm gonna bring everything over to one side, cut this piece, elevate as I'm using the head shape as my elevation. The next section, elevate even out to here, over direct everything to one side, and do the same thing on the opposite, okay? To keep the rounds of the head continuous. On the top, I'm gonna switch over to the shears. The shears is tip, middle, back, also the tip, clean, soft, blunt ends, or point cut. Tight little strokes right here gives you that solid line, right? Deeper point cuts like this will give you more like steep point cuts. And then the back of the blade right here is usually we never cut hair like that, right? It's only when we do like donate something, like locks of love, you know,
Yeah.
ponytails, you know, those
Yeah.
are always the best. I love them. So again, combing the hair to the side, seeing what the underneath what already is existing, using my combs to do diagonal partings to the side, take this out of the way, and then here I'm gonna assess where I wanna put my shape. Either I keep this much of the portion behind, or entering, releasing the way to my line. So it's a 3 thing, if that makes sense. I'll repeat as I go. This is my elevation, it's not here. If I kept it like this, that's what I'm gonna, the weight, right? I'm gonna, off of Cynthia's head shape, it's gonna be elevated to here, keeping and visualizing where I wanna stop my line, but I'm gonna utilize the inside to go to my line, cut to my line. Go. Okay, she's
You're
like,
elevating it up,
Yeah.
but still remaining on that way.
yep, and then, oh, the bottom is, oh, just fell out.
Yep.
That's the connection, and that's where I'm gonna start, right? You see that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Go to the bend,
You're
go
cutting
in.
down into that line.
Yes. Oh, there's a there's a highlight right there.
He's like, I'll keep that one. Keep the highlight.
And
Take it out.
just little bing, bing, bing.
Yeah. Give it some texture.
Giving infrastructure without having to
No, that's
doing
nice.
2 to 3 things at
And
the
like
same
the little
time.
highlight. Looks great.
A little heavy here.
Yeah.
Left this behind. It's okay. And I'm not slide cutting, I'm actually talking the scissors down, okay? My scissors are a lot longer. This is like 8 inches. If you have 5 to 4, you can get it tighter. Move it back and forth to see like, oh, I just woke up to see where it's going. Next section, using the head shape, moving up. Oh, this is where I'm gonna put my next foil. This is where I'm gonna move up, right? You just kind of move and work with the curves of the head. Bring it out, elevate it out. Don't cut the previous, it's already been cut. And that's a common mistake. You know, we're taking weight out and from the previous when it's already been taken out. Looking at the bends of the hair, like where do I want this one to sit? Do I want it to sit here, here, or here? Okay, so just visual, that's how I'm visualizing it.
Looks good. From way back here, looks great.
Thank you. You look great. She's like,
This was meant for her.
oh
It
yeah.
is.
I mean, it's like totally.
It's like so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, her
It's
face.
like, it's just beautiful face.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. Focus.
42 minutes.
Oh, exactly.
Exactly.
We just like to keep on top for everybody.
And I'll clean up the details after, so again, diagonal this way. There's a cowlick going on right there, so just pick a big, on this side, it's not that much I'm gonna cut, because it's already been.
It's funny how we still call it a cowl.
Yeah.
For what?
It's funny how we still call it a cowl.
Yeah, a
Try
little,
not to, but yeah. that's the-
I don't know, something with the wind tunnel, like,
A whirl?
yeah, a whirl.
Well, the back of it has
It's
a
called a
whirl
whirl.
on the front, and it's only a half a whirl, they call it a cowlick.
Yes. They call, I'm sorry, say again?
The whirl is on the back of the head.
Yes.
And then in the front, when you only have half of a whirl, they call it like a cowlick,
Exactly.
like a cowlick too. Like, that's so weird.
Well, that's.
That's the old school.
That's why I think it's
I
funny.
guess people got licked by cows more often.
Or it could be like a climate thing, a tornado.
Yes, 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 yes.
So I'm just gonna bring everything over and noticing the volume, the length, elevate out, highlight right here, just soften it. Not yet. And then just a little bit here. Okay. Cool. Let's see what she- let me just put some hair up. A little cool air is really nice, you know?
That's what we call it, cowl,
You know, especially with like the round brush blowout or like, it just is so hot.
yeah. Yes.
Right now, I'm not overthinking. There's some pieces I want to like go back into, but sometimes when we clean, we can just take everything away. So
Yeah.
there's this portion right here. There's something right behind the ear that we can detail later, but we'll get the majority of the hair. I'm just ironing the top of the hair right now with my hands, just to make sure. This is where we're putting the product in. Feeling the head shape.
It is so cute.
Looking at all the natural bends to see what it's doing. This is her coming out of the ocean.
This is like, this is like the haircut for her.
It is so cute. I love it.
Yeah, we made a good choice here, Cece.
Yeah.
Makes you keep on good teeth.
Yeah.
So now I'm just gonna go from the center to the front hairline. And because we over-direct everything to the corners on this side and over-direct we're gonna repeat the same concept, but we're gonna do chevron sections, okay?
Yes.
So just kind of like, bing, 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 so like,
Okay.
that's interesting. Here, if you were to hold it, you can see leaving behind a lot of weight. But if we elevate it, it's gonna be a lot lighter. To my line, to my line. And then section it this way, to my line. You can, wherever you decide to do it. And I'm gonna stop right about here, okay? And then we're gonna go back, You can continue to, like if you want that piece, 100%.
So the rest of all these boots.
Yeah, they're gonna boots, yeah. So,
I would figure
That
you
was
that.
like
yeah.
So,
I'm liking the boots.
here, comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that we don't get that fling, you know, because we're up against the background.
Yeah, just getting that tension and then not getting the tension,
Yeah.
it shows you some things that are going on.
It shows you like infrastructure.
Yeah, it shows you where the weight is, too, a little bit,
Yeah.
and where it's not.
Right. And it also gives you like the curves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she
The
just
curves
shows
of the
that.
head. Yeah, right here.
That's something I kind of long told me today, I didn't ever really try that. It works. You can see the benefit of it. And you're cute.
You're so pretty, huh? Watch out.
Yeah, it's like this is my woman.
Okay, don't fix it, just keep on going, you know?
Okay.
I like to clean. Usually, I'm in this salon, I'm like moving things. You know? I'm just weird like that. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the front and like, look at the hairline. What do we wanna keep behind? And we're gonna do like the chevron sections coming back. Here, you can pick up your razor again or not, it's up to you. Just elevate the hair out, look where the length is. We like this length, we wanna bring it to somewhere right here, okay? Coming off of the head shape, this is gonna be weighty and heavy, just slightly off, but not up here. Gorgeous eyebrows, we want that highlight in the front, so just a little bit here. And I'm not slide cutting, you know, that's really important, because right here, if I were to like slide, it'd just be everywhere.
Yeah, you're cutting the hair rather than tearing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a difference. Especially around the hairline, because I know her hair, but it would tend to be a little fuzzy if you did.
Yeah, or it could be the recession, it's like, oh my God, I'm trying to build,
Yeah.
you know?
I always make that distinction between cutting and tearing the hair, there's a big difference, you know?
Yes, and in the front hairline right here, where we're doing bangs, I'm looking at where to place the bangs. You could do here, here, here. You could do at the bridge of the nose, you can do it at the chin, but I'm utilizing my head shape in the front. This is the length in the first part of, the length in the perimeter on this head shape, right? You guys see that? Yeah, this is the length. Everything behind it is the weight. So it's falling on top of the hairline. So when we're doing bangs, you know, it's heavy, it's heavy, it's heavy. But is it the length or is it this head shape, the length that's falling on top? So you can actually take the weight out in the second part of the ring instead of the first. Instead of the length.
Especially like my hair, so we're seeing, you can't touch that first little thing, I like it heavy because I don't have any hair right there.
Yeah.
Behind it, you can go down, but right here,
Yes.
I want it just real clean.
You want it fuller.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So those are little fun things that clients really appreciate, you know, because it's what you leave behind, right? It's not what you're taking away. So if we just take away the front sliver and we're leaving all the weight behind and the head is like this, it's gonna be like really heavy, right? And it doesn't move.
Even on color,
Yes.
like even on color, I like that front one not to be baby lighted, to just be natural and then maybe like right behind it, because then it gives the illusion that it's even thinner.
Yes. Yes.
Underneath
And
it.
it breaks it, yeah. It's finer.
Absolutely. And that's like when you're,
I hate hair
I
Yeah.
I even like the color a little darker and then the blonde hang over it.
Yeah.
Just so it gives it a
Gives it a
little
gloss,
pop.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that, those little details. And sometimes if it's a shorter forehead, if you go just a little bit lighter, it could make the forehead longer. So, that's what makes us, what we do.
Photo artist.
Yeah, so here, beep, 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 I'm just gonna save the highlight and just a little bit. And my entering is further away from this area. It's not as close to like the other side.
I find it harder to teach more artistic haircuts though too, because it's a lot of feel and curve, and the artist itself was creating, and they're trying to teach it. And it's like, you can see it in your eye, but it's hard. It's easier to teach more structured haircuts, but real artsy and the feel it's harder.
It's hard, but like the bends of the hair, and that's the thing, it's like, it's also so extreme, it could be like too artsy.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what happened? That's not me. You know what I mean? You can create beauty on the minimalist, and like hitting, eyes, beautiful, no, go ahead. Eyes, she's got great eyebrows, she's not Peggy Moffat, or like blunt, I think that's even harder to do,
Face shapes and
Yeah,
eyebrows and faces, yeah.
In here, another section. You guys are awesome, so much fun. I'm having fun.
So are you still hot?
Not anymore. In the beginning, I was.
He's acclimated.
Now that he's worked.
Slowly cranking the fans up for you guys.
Oh, there's that.
I'll like go turn the fan up a little bit more.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Cool, what's wrong with
Yeah, I
you?
feel good.
Well, the three got a little faster.
Yeah, it's not as humid as it was while ago.
Yeah.
And keeping in mind right now, because in the salon we have a mirror, right? Everybody's
Oh, yeah.
watching. So just make sure you move things around and placing product like not just like that, and they're like, spray up versus down. If you want down weight, spray down. If you want volume, body, spray up. Okay.
Yeah, it's underneath that.
At this point right here, I can keep on taking the weight out here, right? But I'm moving on top of the head, and I want the fullness of my weight distribution. Weight release is going to be just a little slower.
Of course,
And you,
Further from the scalp.
yeah.
yes.
More towards the hands.
Where the other side, I was like looking for the bend right here.
So, with such organic cutting like this, I know that you and the client talk about, the haircut before you start, obviously, like this is a general idea, but I know a lot of it is decision making in the moment. So how can I how can I build that trust from the get-go in terms of consultation to tell them, okay, I'm gonna be making some choices here. Is it kind of collaborative? You talking about obviously having a mirror in front of you, do you kind of collaborate with your client
Yes,
throughout the process?
100%.
Okay.
Mood boards, having what is it about that area that you like, I like how that it's tuckable, I'm afraid of going too short because I've had my hair short before and my hair does this
Yeah.
right here, and sometimes we have to shave it off, and I'm not in the mood for that, I don't want to feel that, so keeping just being aware and also showing pictures.
I think it starts off through just in consultation,
Right.
if you take command of the situation and don't make suggestions, that's when you start building that trust.
Yeah,
I think it starts just the first few minutes of the consultation.
first few minutes of the consultation, and it's nice to see pictures. Oh, let's keep that little piece. Oh, we can keep that.
Build it for
You know, they reconfirming when they look back in the front and you're like, after you've done that back and you re-look in the front, you're like, this is the side you switch to, right? I think I'm gonna keep that about your cheekbone. And then as you already told them I'm gonna keep it to your cheekbone, so then they're not scared that you
We'll go
took a little, that you took a little chunk out of somewhere, because they're not like, I just want you to make it, she make it short. Because you just go down like,
Yeah.
remember
I think in that area, like, kind of step back and just, check in on them, and I'll always say the why, let's bring this here because it's gonna accentuate this, it's still tuckable,
Yeah, I like the words that you're using, the describing words. I'm trying to figure that out with consultation, being such a new stylist, like figuring out words that
Like
will
getting your
attract-
vocabulary
like,
right,
hook their
yep.
ear
Yeah.
to be like, oh, tuckable, I like that word,
Yeah.
and flowy and versatile, and yes,
Yes, or if you can point to it,
yeah.
Client will tell you in the beginning what they.
Yeah, just show 'em, yeah.
It is
And
difficult.
show them at the same time what they've already told you,
Right.
just reiterate it back.
Right, sometimes they don't though, as well, like,
Some of us think they don't do hair, so you need to remember that.
Yeah.
Asking appropriate questions in the consultation is very good, but then when you're already in the haircut and you start asking those questions, it makes them very nervous. And you
Yes,
see
that-
the look of a.
Well, yeah, collaboration versus not breaking.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
collaboration versus
Fine
confirmation.
line.
Ask them so many questions, why are they like, I don't know, I thought you were already halfway in, you're asking
Yeah.
questions, but.
Yeah.
Instead of
They
like,
get
do you
started
want me to do
nervous.
this, like, what do you think about this?
Yeah, that uses a lot of trust when you start asking them how to do it,
Yeah, that's.
That's all do
They
that.
want you to ask them.
You tell them how you're gonna do it, don't ask them how to do it.
There's a fine line there.
You gotta own that.
we were very lucky that Cece's hair already had the length. So let's say if the client has hair all the way down to here,
Yeah.
okay? So you, at that point, right here, when you section out the crown in the back, you work on the crown, right? On the back crown, and then you're going to, right here this is where it kind of scares you, right? You're gonna grab all of this, hold it straight up, and then create your guide to work this area, to work the side, to work that. If the hair is super long and you're not able to like point cut, just cut it and then go back and do point cut.
Release
Okay?
the weight.
Yeah. Mhm. That's always kind of fun.
It is fun.
Stand from behind or in front, over direct it all the way back. And right here, allow yourself to, we've already taken a lot of the weight out. So I want my line to be right here, but if I cut it right here, I'm just putting weight back into it, right? So allow yourself some room to point cut. Okay? And then clean. Right? Because if I cut it right here, I'm still creating a line. But if you want that line, if it's finer,
Nope.
But once you bring everything up, then it should all blend. Okay, so right here, all the way up. And then, once you bring it all the way up, and imagine this is still long, right? You have, oh, these pieces are doing something. And you can use that as a reference to go through or not. We can over direct back, or we could just keep it on target. And it would be just a little shorter, We promise the bangs are gonna be tuckable long, so I'm using this where it starts rounding off right here is my last stop before I over direct everything back, okay? If I over directed everything back to here, it won't reach. But if you had long hair, it would be way too long. But if it's that person and she's cool with it, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we're gonna just use square sections on top. Are you okay?
Yes, thank you.
And then hold the hair straight up, going using the previous. Next section is right here. It's not a, to me, I don't really measure by fourth, middle, half, you know, it's confusing. I just follow the head shape. Straight up, over drag, forward. Body position is, I'm right on top. You know, if she was up here, I'd be up here. You know, that's a lot of work. So just bring the chair down so you can see it. Oh, kind of build a bridge left to right. Already cut the back, so just removing the previous. Allowing some room so I can get really inside, steep point cuts. Cute.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, I'm just right at where the head curves, so we're gonna just keep overdrive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oop, right here. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of gel serum in the hair for structure. The hair is moist right now.
Yeah.
It's not 100% dry, but just iron it. Put your fingers through it. And there's a little piece over here. So now I have the corners to work with, okay? You can just keep it or blend it a little bit. So I'm gonna blend it a little bit. And that's that kind of, it's not round, it's just the corners are here, right? The square here, this is here. I'm going straight in and just boom, point cut it in. So you still have your square, but you have a piece that softens it so it can collapse over. Right there. Okay. Square. Okay. Here. And here. That was that little piece. It's not rounding it, you know. If we were to round it, it could be like pixie. You know, so squaring it right here. And going straight in right there. You can just go in and go 1, 2, 3, and maybe just a little bit right there.
So panel 2 straight out like that.
Yeah, so in the middle
Cutting the straight
of the corner, I'm cutting
Yeah.
just,
leaving the weight on each
Boom.
side, but then it more.
and it will soften everything.
Yeah, look how soft.
That's kind of like the part of the hybrid that I absolutely love. Because how can you blend a short and a long,
Yes.
you know? And, you know, yes, it's going to be disconnected and overhang, but it needs to kind of like give function, you know? So you have your square here, and we're just going straight in the center of that point and reduce one weight, and that's it, okay? There it is, there it is, there it is, right there. I'm not rounding it. That could take it That could be, the look could be,
Old lady.
you said it, I didn't.
My hair goes old lady-ish because it's got curls in it all the time.
And mature
I
look.
was gonna say
Mature.
Just
Yeah.
old fashioned,
Yeah, that made like.
you know,
You could see that.
Yeah. you don't want old fashioned.
We want high fashion.
There.
So like RV chic.
State
I'm just
style.
because we're here,
I
yeah.
got you, I got you. That's what we are for.
Okie dokie. Right here, right over the ear. A little bend right here. I'm gonna just check this portion, right behind here, just a little bit. And I thought this is, you can make it more fitted, so it makes, if you like. So, go back into this area, and there's a little bit more of that way. Okay. And it's kind of like this, it's not square, it's more like, you know, curves, okay? Like the basketball, the tennis ball. No, not tennis ball. Comb all the way up, you know, like this, so you can, and beep, 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 beep. And you can see there's that weight right there, okay? I left that for last. So here we have options to cut a triangle in there to deflate it, but I want to keep, I like having it here, right there, I think it's nice. I'm gonna elevate it out. Just put a couple more bars right there. Elevation, while retaining, when you elevate, you retain the length around the perimeter. All right, so styling it, I have gel serum, just misting it down a little bit. Gel serum is gonna give you, on dry application, it's gonna give you more of that gel look, right? But if it's on wet hair, it's gonna be more like serum. Gel serum is, there's nothing like that. Gel serum is pretty much the reason why I work for the company. No, it really is. It's my first love to the brand. It was yeah, it's gel, serum, 2-in-1, body, shine. It's incredible. Yeah, it's so smart. It's incredible, and it maneuvers so
Why
well.
does it smell so different than all the other ones? It seems like the smell is 3 or 4 times stronger than all the other products.
It's got lavender in it.
I don't know, it just seems like the smell's stronger. I don't use it because it's like so intense.
I like it.
Is it just me?
Oh my gosh.
It's just me.
I wanna smell it. I don't think I've ever noticed that before.
You trust me? That one.
So, Matt Waves,
Yeah.
Not at all.
Surfer Style.
Oh, wow, it smells amazing.
My favorite, it seems
They
like the
almost
smell
smell
is way stronger than the
It
others.
smells so good.
and
It does smell
Grandiose.
stronger.
So we have
But
four
it smells
products. Go ahead. Kien, do
So we have 4 products that was on the list that, like, we wanna get to. The first one is Crimper Style. Crimper Style, it's a cream,
Yeah.
right? It's cream. There's an ingredient here called, I guess a weird ingredient called gawagui something, you know, and I searched it and it's actually like, it kind of has this kind of feel that they like to plump things. I think they use it in stamps, you know, to get this kind of like, you know. But Crimper Style is lived in, right? On finer hair, if you put this amount in, on fine hair, you're gonna get like
Oil.
a lot.
Yeah.
You know, on hair that you want to, this is a Crimper Style person, more lived in, more, the texture's satin, you know, it's a cream, short hair, long hair, it plumps ends, so on fine hair, just put less than this, blow dry, and it will help voluminize the hair. It's like, you know those things that you put on your lips that plump? Yeah, to me, it's kind of like that. Yeah. But Crimper Style is awesome. So cute. That was so cute. I love Crimper Style. You know, you can natural hand style it. You can slick hair back with it. You can do haircuts or lengths this hair that for that client. Grandiose, mousse. Anytime I think of a mousse, I think like mousse, full, puffy, big, you know. Grandiose is strong. There's, it falls into our brown
My
pan.
hair, my hair,
Yes, it's actually great here, in this area here. You know, the clients like want volume. Just keep in mind, prep the hair well, right? Then put the mousse, either you put it, with a comb through, make sure it's the roots that's giving volume.
Right.
The ends, if it's highlighted, ombre, it's gonna grab, you know, so you wanna prep it evenly. But yeah, Grandiose is gonna give voluminous. Everything we do, we have to prep the hair. Grandiose on dry hair is gonna get
Too much grip.
grip, right? But grip from, can I show you here?
Grip is good.
Grip is good, but this is already grippy.
Right.
This is really flat. If we put Grandiose here to here, this is gonna grab.
Yeah.
This is gonna grab your toner. It's gonna grab product.
Right.
And here, scalp, and like ombre through the ends, and do your blow. Okay, that's the most.
Matt Waves.
Oh yeah, matte waves. Matte waves is awesome. There's Brazilian nut in here that gives you kind of like this. It helps to encourage curl and wave. So matte wave. It says matte, but it's not. I don't think it's that matte. But matte waves, if we put it on. I want my hair to be matte wave. This is already a matte texture, and the porosity is what? Open. If you want matte on top of matte, it could be like too much